Yeah, Joel Houseman's joining me from Hockey Saskatchewan. Joel, thanks for making time today. You're up in Aberdeen, and this weekend it's Aberdeen and Lumsden, the focus, because it's a big weekend for those second-year U15 kids. I still call it Bantam. It's their first weekend of Sask First.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's our regional camp weekend. So for the 2011 boys, I still call it Bantam too. I got to check myself, but still calling it the Bantam draft. But it's the Western Hockey League draft that these kids are, going to partake in at the end of the year. So this is the first step in our program of excellence, in the Hockey Canada program of excellence. So it's opportunity for any 2011 boy that wants to try out in our program this weekend. So we block hockey for them, so they can't play club hockey, so they can attend these camps and see where they kind of rank against their peers.
And it's so this weekend, it's how many in the north and how many in the south. And then if I follow it correctly, then they reconvene in December, north and south in Regina.
Yeah, that's right. We have a little over 300 kids, so it's not quite an even split, but about 150 in each camp. So they'll go through practice tonight. Games will start tomorrow and Sunday, and then at the end of the weekend, we select the top 80 out of the North region and the top 80 out of the South region, and then they come to Regina right after Christmas, December 28th, for our top 160 tournament. So
these kids,
that tournament, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So yeah, continue on here, because then after that, it goes down to 80. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the top 160 will happen, and then we'll cut it in half again. It'll go to 80. We always do it in Balgony, the Family Day weekend. So we'll pick the 80 out of that event, and then after the top 80, we'll probably select around 30 to 40 kids to kind of move forward in the next phase of the program, which is our summer camp, our fall camp, our training camp. At the end of this journey, which is about a year from now, we'll select the 2011 boys to go to the Canada Games, which is in Quebec City in February and March of 27.
So then the Canada Games, that's like an every 4-year thing, right? It's kind of like the Olympics. It falls. And then this team last year and the year before would have competed in the WHL Cup?
Yeah, that's correct. Every non-games year, it's a WHL Cup, and every 4 years, the year after the Olympics is always the Canada Games. So you kind of got to be born in the right birth year, which is lucky for the 2011 boys. But this would be my 5th Canada Games. They're very special. It's like an Olympics, and we're the only country, to my knowledge, that does something like this for youth athletes. So they have a village for the kids, just like they do in the Olympics. It's multi-sport. It's highest level of hockey and other sports. It's a very, very neat experience for them, those that get to go. And, I was talking to some parents about this on the phone earlier this week. Last Canada Games was obviously, 3-4 years ago, but our male team lost double overtime, and it was Matthew Schaefer versus Cole Reshny going head to head in that game. So that's the kind of level it gets to. It was one of the best hockey games I've ever been to. We come out on the wrong side of it, but it was unbelievably fun to watch. So
that is really, really cool. So in building this team, are the coaches set into place? When do the coaches get set into place? How are things kind of whittled down in that respect too?
Yeah, we just opened our coach applications for the Canada Games. So we opened it December 1st. We'll close it December 15th, and then we'll look at our applicants, interview some people, and then select our coaching staffs for male and female in January. So the coaches will be in place for our top 80 event, and that's when they'll start working directly with the players.
When you go to these events, and you said you've been to the Canada Games, WHL Cup this year, Saskatchewan didn't have the greatest tournament. It's always going to vary. When you go to the Canada Games, you name dropped a couple of guys. That hockey at that level, like from your hockey expertise, what kind of hockey team wins at something like this?
The ones, and especially in our province, that have done well are a group of kids that work hard and just buy into what the coaches are selling at the end of the day. We're very Sasky in our province, and we play well when we play to our identity. And that is, working hard, never quitting, being ultra competitive, being physical. And we have a ton of skill in our province that, sometimes people don't maybe talk about as much, but we have some very skilled hockey players. We know how to play the game. We know how to coach the game. But when it all comes together, when a group's unselfish and plays for each other, that's when, in my opinion, that's when the magic happens. And that last group, we had an unbelievable coaching staff. Ryan McDonald is the head coach, who's head coach of Prince Albert right now. He's having success with Team Canada, but they did a great job. And, that was one of the best teams I've ever seen for younger kids to check your ego at the door and just grind. And, we played a couple games last time against Quebec and some really good teams. And those kids were just great. They worked so hard, and that's what it takes. At that level, we're a smaller province, so we need kind of everybody on board, all 4 lines, all 60, all 2 goalies. So for us, that's kind of what we're looking for. Even in these weekends, we want, we had a meeting a couple days ago with our coaching staffs for the weekend. We want high skating ability, high compete, and high hockey IQ. So that's what we're looking for when we start identifying players.
Let's talk about the female side, because obviously there's your Canada Games and there's a female group going to this, but they don't go this weekend. It doesn't start quite this early, and it's a different age group.
Yeah, they're a little bit older. So this year it's the 09 and 10 girls. So it'd be all the girls playing U18 hockey in our province are eligible to try out. That camp is last weekend of January, first weekend of February. I think it's January 30th that it starts. It's the same progression and the same philosophy through everything. It just starts a little bit later. So same thing. Those girls will go through all the same things, same tournaments, same summer stuff, training camp. We'll pick it a year from now again. And they're week 2 athletes. So their tournament will be a little bit later in March at the Canada Games. So each tournament's around 9-10 days each by the time you get there and practice and travel. So they're week 2, just kind of, it's very much like the Olympics. So.
Okay, so for both clubs, and you talked about picking the kids and all that. You guys also do a bunch of stuff off ice, and you're getting to know these kids and the maturity levels and the IQs off the ice as well, right?
Yeah. I always tell the kids, especially, when we get to the tournaments, I kind of come in and introduce myself and go over a few things. But, we're looking for good players, but we're looking for good people. We want high character people and, high character kids that are good human beings and carry themselves well and will represent our province. And, there's been good players released before for, maybe behaviors they did off the ice or away from the rink. And, it's our belief that just doesn't fit with our team and representing our province. And so that's part of it too. Part of it, especially as you get along in the program, is, one-on-one meetings with coaches and staff and getting to know kids on, personal level and trying to see, how they are as people and how they are as teammates. And that stuff becomes very, very important. You talk to any higher end hockey team, major, junior, or anything like that, they're going to say the same thing.
Can we name drop any kids that have maybe there's your Canada Games? Because I remember, I think it was 95, and that was a special year. Ross Mahoney will know it well, but we Corey Sarich on that team. Patrick Marleau. Patrick Marleau was on that team. But throughout the years, what's some name drops, female and males?
Oh man, I think Emily Clark played in the 2011 Canada Games in Halifax, so pretty big name on the female side there. We've had, Cole Sillinger played in the 2019 Canada Games. Trying to think back to 15, Jake Lecision was in that group. So, there's always for sure some NHL, Olympic type players in these events. It's really neat to go to and watch from across the country because, I mentioned Matthew Schaefer before, you don't get to see that all the time. And so when they're all in one tournament going head to head, you really get to see who it's a best on best. So you get to see who the best in the country at that moment is. And, a couple of years later, obviously, those guys are in the NHL and doing very well. And it's neat to watch. when they're young kids. Like, I remember when Cole Sillinger played on our team, like you watched him at that event and he was the best forward there. Like you could just see it. Like Matty Savoy was there and they're kind of going head to head and it's from a hockey fan and being around kids that age, like it's fun to watch. Like they're very, very talented and they carry themselves different when they're younger. As Maddox Schultz, the same thing. You just watch them; they're just different, but they're very talented, and it's a very cool thing to watch.
Joel, thanks so much for coming and shedding some light on. We're going to follow this and probably have it on here because we love the local sports and the side of things. You have fun in Aberdeen, Saskatchewan this week, and I don't know what the concession like. It used to be awesome in the old barn.
Top shelf up here, top shelf. Looking forward to it.
And I'm sure things will be hopping in Lumsden as well. All the best, Joel. Travel safe.
Thanks for having me.